2 weeks out from WWE's Extreme Rule Horror Show. It's Monday. What do we find out? Let's get to the intro. What's up, everybody? Thank you, as always, for joining me, JG, and here we are for an episode of Monday Night Raw Review. Shocking, I know. 2 videos, holy cow, we're on a roll. But no, this week's going to be a busy week. The only day we're not going to have videos is going to be Tuesday and Thursday, because technically I'm getting this up Monday night still. But with that being said, we got a long week to cover, plus UFC. Big time. But here, for now, let's go ahead and get into Monday Night Raw. So the show kicked off with Drew McIntyre coming to the ring. And I gotta say, man, honestly, the first hour of Raw just felt like a lot of talking. We think we've seen one match in that entire hour. But shockingly enough, the show didn't actually feel like it dragged on to me tonight, which was very shocking and a nice change of pace, because I'll be honest with you, usually Raw has just been dragging on. So we get Drew McIntyre coming down to the ring, and he explains to us why he's allowing Dolph to pick the stipulation at Horror Show. And pretty much, it's the same old Drew McIntyre, full of confidence, has no worries, no doubts in himself about losing to Dolph Ziggler. Then we get an interruption by Dolph Ziggler, and lo and behold, who does Dolph decide he's going to bring out? None other than Heath Slater, man. So we got 2 of the 3 reuniting for the 3-man band. And I gotta say, this was pretty interesting. Seeing Heath Slater actually get honest about it and not just be another comedy gig was very good, man. A lot of emotions actually put into this scene. Heath Slater talking about how he's been there for Drew McIntyre the whole time, and where was Drew when he needed him. So tonight, Heath knew he had to take his shot at least getting a career again, because instead of the 22 kids he told us, the mouths he had to feed, he's actually got 2 that he really does need to feed. So right here, we get the quickest match of the first hour. I mean, this thing is literally a Claymore kick, Heath Slater pin, 1, 2, 3, match over. Dolph tries to get in the ring and attack Heath Slater, but back comes the champ. Drew McIntyre saves his boy, and it's almost a heart-touching moment when we leave this part of the show. Slater's damn near in tears, so I thought for the most this was done well. And to be honest, with the 3-second finish, the Claymore and the pin, I preferred that over any other way they could have gave it to us tonight. So I thought tonight that was absolutely done well. Then we get Sasha and Bailey with a promo in the ring. Just doing the Sasha and Bailey thing. 2 belts Bailey. Female tag team champions. I mean, they got everything going for them right now. So we're just getting the promo. They're talking about how Sasha's going to beat Asuka on 2 weeks from this week. And then we get Bailey talking about how she's actually going to beat Asuka tonight in the champ versus champ match. At this point, we get Asuka coming out, standing at the top of the runway, and lo and behold, guess who she brings out? The return of Kairi Sane. Now, I gotta say, it was fantastic seeing her come back. And to be honest with you, this is probably the cleanest Kairi Sane match I've seen in a long, long time. So I was actually impressed by this, but we get Kairi versus Sasha Banks. Match well done. Both ladies had their moments. Up and down match the whole way. Before the match can truly come to a finish, we get an interference by Bailey. Bailey coming in to help out her friend. And at this point, we get the breakdown of the match. I thought right after this, the perfect way they could have gone with it is, since Bailey decided she's going to interfere with the match, we could go ahead, make it a tag team match later in the evening instead of champ versus champ, and put the tag title belts on the line. I thought that would have been absolutely great. And when we get to Asuka versus Sasha Bailey, we'll dive into that a little bit more because there's actually more about that whole situation. I want to talk about how I felt they could have booked it. But it was just nice seeing Kyrie return. Welcome back. We all know it sucks to be out on injury, but it is damn good to see you back. Then we get Aleister Black attacked backstage. And when we see it initially, when the cameras get back to the backstage area, Aleister Black has a Rey Mysterio mask on. So, we were already set up. We're supposed to have Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black tonight. Well, Aleister Black is banged up. So this leads right into the KO show segment. And the special guest for tonight is Seth Rollins. I thought this was done very well. Before KO even introduces Seth Rollins, we get KO throwing the chairs out of the ring. He just states, hey, we already know how this is going to go. Let me go ahead and take care of this and get this out of the way now. So we get them to go ahead and remove that for us. And then Seth comes out, start talking back and forth. Seth talking about, it's nice to see KO back. He actually came out with good intentions. He just came out to give a warning to Rey Mysterio. And KO immediately starts talking about WrestleMania and how due to the WrestleMania match, they'll always be linked together. And I have to say, it was a great match. So yes, they will always be linked together in that moment. But then we see KO in Seth Rollins' shirt. And it's a KO Mania shirt. And this just had me cracking up. I thought this was well done segment. But what it truly leads into is what I thought it was going to be. KO replacing Aleister Black as Rey Mysterio's partner. But not only that, we also get told that there's going to be a stipulation for the winner of the tag match between Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, Rey Mysterio, and KO. Very excited about this. I'm actually pretty interested to see where the whole Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio goes. But anyways, we get the match. It was good seeing KO back in the ring. You could tell the focus was on KO's left leg. I thought this, once again, was done very well. I thought it was well balanced. I thought KO and Rey had their moments, their high moments, a lot of low moments it felt like, but that's how I honestly thought it should have been. But then we get towards the end of the match, we get a breakdown. And in the breakdown, we see Dominic get attacked. Rey's a little sidetracked, focused on that. KO's banged up. Seth Rollins is trying to leave the area, and I'm not really sure why. Or no, Rey Mysterio is going to go for a move. And Seth Rollins actually holds Dominic right in front of him. Then Seth Rollins goes to turn around, sees Aleister Black. We hear Aleister Black's music kick. Aleister Black comes out. Seth Rollins drops to his knees, puts his arms out, enticing Aleister Black to go ahead and hit him. Because he knows if a DQ victory in this situation is actually perfect because they would get to choose the stipulation for next week. It doesn't come to that. It actually ends up Dominic attacks Buddy Murphy to the eyes. This leads Buddy Murphy not to be able to see. Rey Mysterio gets the upper hand, gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Rey chooses the stipulation for his match with Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules Horror Show. And we find out Rey Mysterio, of all people, chooses an eye versus eye match. And you can tell from the look on KO's face, even KO's disgusted. Aleister Black's just kind of like, what? Everybody's so shocked. But as a parent, can you blame a man for wanting to get total revenge on the man who put hands on your son? Not only did that, but affected your eye. Could have affected and ended your career. And you can even hear the commentators just, everybody's so shocked this would come from Rey Mysterio. As well as I was. I mean, I was not expecting that. Rey Mysterio talking about he would love to rip Seth Rollins' eye out with his own hands. I'm like, holy moly, man. I wonder where this is going to lead to in the long run. I have a few thoughts on how this match can go. I think one of the best things we could see, and it would help Dominic, is if he actually turned on Ray. I think that would be so interesting. Call me disturbing, sick, whatever you want. But I think this story has so much to it still. Just stop putting it on repeat and start spacing it out a little more. Kind of let it go down a different path for a second and then come back to the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins towards, I'd say SummerSlam's a little too early. Maybe around Survivor Series. I think that would be perfect. Not only that, I just think the story of like Ray trying to get Dominic back the entire time, but Dominic just following Seth till one day he comes to his senses. And then, you know, Ray, we get Ray and Seth looking like he's going to win the match at Survivor Series, but Rey Mysterio coming through because of the assistance of Dominic. Then we get the reunion of the families right around the Thanksgiving time. Good warm feeling on your heart. I think that would be an excellent way to book this situation. Absolutely great. But I am interested to see where this goes. I am interested to see what we find out on what we see at Extreme Rules. But at the same time, is this really going to live up to what we kind of hope in our minds that it will lead up to? But I guess it's just one of those things. We're going to have to wait 2 weeks. But like I said, up until this point of Raw, I'm not feeling it's just lagging. We had a couple backstage segments that okay, were they really needed? And that's what I've noticed during this pandemic, is that they're throwing a lot more backstage segments to just keep piecing out the storylines they're already showing us in the ring. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be like, oh, well, they do that all the time. They do it all the time, but with the main storylines that they're trying to really push. But it feels like every storyline is kind of getting that front position right now on the shows because you can't have everybody there. Not only that, you're so limited. But so some of those segments we could go away with, but for the most part, like I said, I thought this was done pretty well. Then we get MVP and Lashley. And I have to say, for me personally, MVP coming to Lashley's side has been a tremendous help. I know it feels like we're casting Lashley in the back shadow for MVP, but MVP's work on the mic is phenomenal. Is Bobby's getting better? Slowly. I do think he's progressing on the mic a lot. But I think overall, I just think this is a really good pairing that the WWE decided with. So I think this has gone well. Tonight we see MVP and Lashley. You know, they're talking shit to Apollo Crews. Then lo and behold, they unveil the new United States Champion belt, which I thought wasn't bad at all. I think it honestly represents the United States title better. A lot in blue, red, white, and blue. Not to get into anything political or anything like that. Like, let's just stay away from all that here and have a good time. But I thought this was interesting. Apollo Crews wasn't there tonight. Instead, we get Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. And I mean, this match is what you think it's going to be. The most impressive thing about this match, to be honest with you, is that MVP is fighting this in his slacks, his dress shirt, and his normal shoes, because he came suited and booted to the ring. But I mean, minus that, it's just what you figured it would be. Lashley and MVP get the dub. Cedric Alexander gets the full Nelson for his troubles, I guess we'll call it. And then we get Ricochet saving Cedric Alexander, and you can hear Ricochet, since we have no audience, talking about this isn't over. And to be honest with you, I really don't care where this goes. It's not interesting to me. I don't think MVP is going to win the United States belt. If he did, that'd be awesome. But I don't think he's gonna. And I really don't care anything about this match. Apollo Crews is great in the ring. Not taking anything away from him. But I just think this booking altogether is kind of pointless for me personally. Now, if it was Bobby Lashley in this situation, that would be great. But to really say I want to see MVP versus Apollo for the United States Championship at Extreme Rules, no, not here. You could save that for another day. Not 2 days, sir. not in 2 weeks. So let me hear from you guys. Is there any of you guys out there that actually are excited for the MVP Cedric Alexander match? Because for me, it just really means nothing. Then we get, and then at this point, we get the match I was looking forward to most of the whole night. Randy Orton, Almas, and Angel Garza versus the Viking Raiders and the Big Show. For those of you that don't know, new to the channel, or if you've been around for a while and just don't remember, I love Randy Orton. He's in my top 3 of all time that I personally enjoy. My favorite version of Randy Orton is Legend Killer Randy Orton. It's just that simple. But tonight, I thought what they did was fantastic. I thought tonight you could create a new stable from what we've seen tonight. That's how phenomenal these 3 men are together. Randy Orton, Cien Almas, and Angel Garza. Fantastic, man. So we get the match starting out. Angel Garza's in the ring, dressed down to the pants. His boots, hasn't taken the pants off yet. He's just getting destroyed. Beaten left and right by the Big Show, the Viking Raiders. They're just laying a stomp in him. And while I'm watching this, one thing that's actually going through my head is how Angel Garza, the way he sells everything, reminds me of young Shawn Michaels. Not to say Shawn Michaels couldn't sell later in his career, but when he was in his, I guess, his prime, because yes, he had to cut out years due to the injury. We all know the history. But Shawn Michaels has always been one of the best sellers in the game. And Angel Garza is so amazing when it comes to that. And like I said, I think these 3 are superstars, and I would love to see a stable built out of these 3. That's how good it was. But about halfway through the match, Cien almost gets tagged in. Big Show's going for the pin. Angel Garza comes with the drop kick, and then he goes to attack Cien almost. Not attack him, just pull him over and be like, hey, yeah, you want to be the superstar. And he's about to do the whole leave again. This is where everything just turned for him. Randy Orton calls him out of the ring, puts him up against, or throws him up against the barricade, starts choking him against the glass, tells him, you need to get your head in the game. From this moment on, these 3 looked absolutely spectacular together. Absolutely spectacular. I mean, so in tune with one another. From this point on, they pretty much dominated the rest of the entire match. That's how dominant this performance by these 3 men were. And I'm telling you, this stable could be absolutely phenomenal. And the way you could book this would be even better. But we come down to the finish. We get Ibar and Eric are going for their finisher. They're going for their finisher. Ibar gets pushed out. Eric doesn't realize that Randy Orton's already made a blind tag to Angel Garza. Randy Orton hits the RKO. We get the 1, 2, 3. But as soon as this finish happens, all I'm thinking is, how would you book this going forward? And I think I have the perfect booking for it. You keep these 3 as a stable with Ric Flair and Zelina Vega at the helm. But the whole storyline behind this is going to be that Zelina's trying everything in her power. Whenever they come out without Randy for independent matches, things of this nature, she's not getting anywhere to them, and they just continue the dysfunction. But for some reason, Randy Orton continually, whenever he's around these 2, he's the one who gets them back focused like a true leader would, and pushes them forward to the point they get the championship. Then you get Zelina Vega get jealous, so she kind of leaves herself from the group. She goes with where I should think she should be, with Aleister Black. Then we get Angel and Cien Almas finally just getting enough friction that one day it breaks the camel's back. Randy can't keep them cohesive anymore. They lose the tag team championships, and then eventually we get the Angel Garza Almas Andrade matchup. I think that would be amazing, incredible. I just seen so much from these 3 tonight. I've got to say, like, If the WWE doesn't take this opportunity of what they've seen tonight between these three men and do something with it going forward, you're really just wasting your time. You could run the storyline out between Garza and Cien Almas so much longer if, I'm telling you, if you keep it with Randy Orton, let Randy Orton always make sure these guys come through, push Selena out of the picture, get her over with Aleister Black, then finally, after months of being tag team champions, these boys go head to head because they just can't take it anymore. That way we can get Randy Orton back out on his own. Because let's be honest, at this exact moment, see, Angel and Cien Andrade have like really no direction other than against each other. But why waste that at this exact moment when you could do it later in the year and actually build upon what we've seen so far and what we've seen tonight? I think that would be great. WWE, take advantage of what you've seen tonight. Then we get a little backstage segment with the Iconics and Ruby Riott. It's just how Ruby Riott hates the voice of Billie Kay. We find out she's facing Billie Kay tonight. Then it pans over. We hear MVP talking to Cedric Alexander alone. MVP's just putting in his ear. Everybody just considers you as Ricochet's sidekick. And it got me thinking, would I like to see Cedric Alexander working with Bobby Lashley and MVP? And honestly, since there's really no direction right now for him or Ricochet, maybe this would be something beneficial to Cedric Alexander. I think Cedric Alexander has all the talent in the world. I think him and Buddy Murphy's match at, I think it was the Saudi Arabia one, the first one, but Crown Jewels, the first one, I thought that was phenomenal. That was probably one of the best matches on the card. And with him not having, like I said, any direction really right this moment, I think you could build upon this. And I think it would be good for him and Ricochet to actually, start going head to head with all the talent in the world in that match. And just, man, I feel so bad for Ricochet. This man has all the talent in the world, not the greatest on the mic, but that's why I think Lucha Underground did it the best with Ricochet, aka Prince Puma. Prince Puma was phenomenal. He was something you wanted to see, and he really didn't talk that much. It was probably when he talked that killed him the most. And I just think everything that he came to the company with, just over time, has been taken away to the point where now he just gets his butt kicked every week by Bobby Lashley in some form or fashion. I don't know, man. It's just one of those disappointing situations to see this going on. Then we get a little segment with Randy Orton and Ric Flair. Holy cow, we get a truth spot sighting tonight. This was a quick one too, not even a match. No wrestling for the 24/7 title, but he kind of bumps into Randy Orton. And then he mistakes Ric Flair for Tozawa in a costume, talking about ain't no way in the dirtiest player in the game could be looking this clean. Gave me a little chuckle. He runs off. Tozawa comes running through. Randy Orton points Tozawa in the opposite direction that R-Truth just ran to. So just a little chuckle segment. And let's be honest, at this point, that's really what the 24/7 belts has always been about. So not just this point, but I mean since it became an actual thing again. I had way more interest in the hardcore title than I ever did the 24/7 title. Like, who's not going to remember Crash Holly in the scale? Absolutely fantastic. Super, super heavyweight. Let's go, man. But it's just another one of them chuckle moments. But it is truly a waste. Just a shame seeing R-Truth wasted in so many different ways. Then we get a quick match between Billie Kay of the Iconics and Ruby Riott. And highlight of the match, Ruby's weave falls out. Or extensions, whatever they were. I'm not primed on. It was one of the two. So those fall out. Billie Kay gets the upset. So far, both Iconics have beaten Ruby Riott. I mean, let's just be honest. All this is away is All this is another way for them to get Liv and Ruby back together. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point down the line we've seen Sarah Morgan come back. But outside of that, really, guys, I mean, really nothing to write home about here. It wasn't too exciting or anything else. Then we come to the main event of the evening. We get Nikki Cross on commentary. It was an absolute pleasure seeing Nikki Cross on Raw. I think her character's done so well, and if you don't watch SmackDown, you're at least missing Nikki Cross. But I think her character's done so well. You know, she's same old Nikki, hates when she sees anything she doesn't like. In this situation, Bailey and Sasha cheering on Asuka. I thought then we get the champion versus champion match. And I thought this match was the best thing going tonight. Even over the 6-man tag match that I was talking about earlier. I thought this match, hands down, was the best match of the night. Shout out to Asuka and Bailey. These ladies are so spectacular at what they do. This match went on about 30 minutes left on the show. Close this out. At no point in this match did I think it ever died out. In fact, as the match kept progressing, I kept getting more interested and more involved, becoming more immersed with what I was watching. It was done so well. So well. It's like sometimes you forget how good Bailey is at what she does and Asuka at what she does. And the beating these two women take. There's a point where Asuka goes for a spinning back fist and you clearly see it pop Bailey. And even she had to, like, and if you notice, you're watching, Asuka stops, everybody just kind of chills for a moment to see if Bailey's actually going to recover. Like, Asuka dead stops and she's like, but Bailey gets on the outside of the ring. She's setting up so Asuka can do the booty bomb to her. Asuka, you can see, she's like, gives it the head nod, like, you okay? And Bailey, like a trooper, like the women's champion she is. Takes the booty bump, and the match just keeps progressing. And I gotta say, man, neither woman came out looking any less. Both women came out looking stronger tonight. It's that simple. Bailey is so good at what she's doing, man. Just her in-ring performance, but not only her in-ring performance, the way she's talking trash throughout the entire match. One of the highlights for me is when she gets on commentary and she just starts talking crap right before we go to commercial break. Thought that was done. That's done so well. It actually reminds me of like The Rock back in the heyday. Like the only thing missing from that was Bailey getting on there and beating the crap out of Asuka while she's on there. It was done so freaking well. I mean, these women put on a hell of a performance. And if you didn't get to see this tonight, I would definitely recommend going and watching this match from start to finish. Thought this match was fantastic. Thought the way Nikki Cross got thrown out was kind of corny. One thing that I don't like is when a wrestler is outside the ring and for some reason the ref doesn't want to make it count. So we get Bailey going out, smacks Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross pretends like she's gonna stay on there and be good. She starts chasing after. Security guards get in between. They're gonna kick Nikki Cross out. And Bailey's just standing outside of the ring taunting. You can see just in the angle that's shot at, you can see the ref standing right there. At least give me the 1, 2, 3, like fake the count. Or at this point, just have Bailey roll back in the ring and then start talking trash from out the inside while the security guards are still interfering and taking Nikki Cross out. So I thought that could have been done better. But you know, at this point, somehow Nikki Cross is going to play back into the finish. The great thing was, she did, but she didn't play into the finish. So Bailey is just continually beating the crap out of Asuka. Asuka gets her moments, but they're very short-lived. Bailey, we hear some pounding on the glass, you know, the glass at the top of the barricade, and it's Nikki Cross, and this stuns Bailey to the point that she walks herself backward into an Asuka lock. Thought it was done pretty well for the most part, but she couldn't actually lock in the Asuka lock. We even get a rollover attempt like Sasha did to Asuka last week. We get that from Bailey. That doesn't work. And then we kind of get the worst part of the match, like this generic finish where Bailey's trying to like get out of the Asuka lock by diving or dropping to the ground, and Asuka gets on top, pins her with her knees. I thought the finish could have been done a little bit better. But for the most part, I thought this was done so well. So shout out to these ladies for putting on one hell of a main event tonight. And I gotta say, to be honest with you, on a scale of 1 to 10 for this week's Raw, I'd probably give it a 6 or 7. And you might not say that's that high of a grade, but compared to what we have seen recently, even that is one hell of a score. But with that being said, man, I enjoyed tonight's Raw. I'd give it at least a speed recommendation watch. Take your time with the 6-man tag match and with the Bailey Sasha match. But overall, well done, WWE. Thank you. This gives me high hopes. Or maybe I shouldn't have any expectations because next week's going to go home shows. But with all that said, we will be back on Wednesday with an AEW and NXT review. It's going to be a long one. And then we'll be back on Friday with a SmackDown, Saturday with a UFC review, and then Sunday we're off. With all that being said, guys, it has been a pleasure. If you're still here, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever you want with this. If you liked my review or you didn't, please go ahead and leave a comment. Let's just interact and have some fun. But until next time, as we always say around here, take names, kick ass, and peace.